Setting up a business in a growing economy like UAE is very easy. However, there are many options available. It becomes difficult to choose which option is the best for you. So today we'll be discussing 6 factors you need to consider when deciding where in UAE you would like to set up your business license. Hey everyone, before we move ahead, please click on the subscribe button to stay updated on our weekly business and finance related content, which is incredibly useful for business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, and those who aspire to be one. Now let's get back to the video. In UAE, there are 7 emirates, and each emirate has its own licensing authorities or the Department of Economic Development. Each emirate also has its own set of Freezone licensing authorities. In UAE, there are about 45 free zone options. So for an investor, it becomes difficult to select which option is best for them. So let's get into the 6 factors we need to consider. What kind of business activity do you intend to do? Based on the activity you select, you might be able to rule out some options. Certain activities are not available to certain free zones. There are even certain activities that are reserved just for mainland companies. You also need to consider if you intend to do business in UAE mainland. If so, you need to keep in mind that there are some restrictions if you have a license in a free zone, based on what activity you select. If these restrictions are not impacting the way you do business, then you could still select a free zone license. Also, if you intend to take part in any major tenders with the UAE government, then a free zone license alone might not be enough. What kind of ownership structure are you looking for? In general, if you select the mainland option, you would need to have a local sponsor who owns 51% of the company. However, there's a new landmark law which we've discussed in our older videos which allows for 100% foreign direct investment for 122 activities. If the activity you want to conduct is not in these 122 activities, you could always set up a company in the free zone with 100% ownership. What kind of warehouse or factory space do you need? If you were to set up a company in UAE mainland, you can select any type of option that you want. However, in certain free zones, there are restrictions on what kind of warehouse or factory space you can have. For example, restrictions on the height of the warehouse or emission of smoke for a factory. It's important to make sure that the option you select meets your requirements. What is your budget? This is obviously an important factor to consider. In general, free zone options are normally slightly more expensive than mainland licenses. The cheaper free zone options normally charge over 8,000 dirhams. However, when we go up to the more expensive ones, you can expect to spend more than 60,000 dirhams on your license fees. How easy is it to set up a bank account? It will be very difficult to operate your company if you do not have a bank account here. With UAE's economy maturing, there have been additional compliances that have been implemented, which has obviously impacted the ease of setting up a bank account in UAE. The difficulty of setting up a bank account in UAE depends on the activity you select, the licensing authority that you select, and the history of the owner itself. How many residence visas do you need in the UAE? You need to look into how many visas are allotted for your license. There are some licenses that do not give out any visas. This will be a problem if you decide to move to UAE for this business or plan to hire staff here. We have for you a bonus factor for you to consider. Do you have a preference on the emirate for the location of your business? Having a business in Dubai or Abu Dhabi obviously adds to the brand value of your company. However, if this is not important to you, setting up a business in any of the other emirates can also be looked into, as they are normally much more cheaper. Hope this video was useful for you to decide where you should be setting up your business in the UAE. Hey everyone, you've reached the end of this video. Thank you all for listening. If you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you'd like for us to talk about any specific topics, please do let us know in the comments below. Hope to see you in the next video.